Hey guys, and welcome to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. A couple of days ago I did a video about the Chromatic and upcoming Game Boy clone that uses FPGA tech, and it was something very interesting. It got a lot of I got a lot of feedback in the comments regarding the company and other stuff, but guys, I'm covering the product because it is an FPGA gaming product, and that's kind of like my niche on this channel. So we spoke a little bit about the Chromatic, went through some of the different colors, some of the specs on here. We're not going to do that today. So what was interesting here, right, there's a bunch of games that are being brought out for it. Now, initially I thought the Chromatic cartridges, like the Tetris game that's being bundled with the console, right, was going to be proprietary. It was only going to work on the Chromatic Game Boy. So your Chromatic Game Boy will run your Game Boy and your Game Boy Color games, and then there's exclusive games. From a business point of view, it kind of makes sense, right? You've got your console, it runs your entire back catalog, hopefully it runs flash carts as well without an issue, but then you've got exclusive games. You're almost recreating that Game Boy vibe, right? Because you're launching it with Tetris. Tetris was the launch game, definitely here in the UK, likely around the world as well, and it's what made Tetris very popular. So then you're bringing out games, and then you're kind of bringing that buzz about getting new games for a new console, even though it's based on an old console. So I kind of get that, right? So there's some games here that you can I imagine you can pre-order them because, you know, the console isn't quite out yet, right? So here we are, we've got Dragonim, something that I've had my eye on from Spacebot Interactive, and that looks very interesting. I've covered it on the channel before. I'm not sure if I had a demo of it or just kind of covering this game when it was announced. And then we've got Patchy Matchy Puzzle Surfing. Again, puzzle games play really well on handhelds. We've got Toki Tori, as well as that we've got Tales of Monsterland DX. In the Dark 2, that's something I've definitely covered on the channel before as well. And then we've got here Traumaterium Penitent. Okay, you know, I'm not the most educated guy, but that was quite a mouthful to read. And then we've got Mayor's Manx Dirt is Free. Okay, so that's a bunch of cartridges you can buy for it. But here's a Reddit thread that I came across earlier, and it was very interesting. So a big shout out to Lord Elon, who says, public service announcement, those special Chromatic cartridges of the upcoming ModRetro FPGA Game Boy Color are not proprietary, but backwards compatible with any Game Boy or Game Boy Color. I guess depends if it's DMG or a color cartridge, or Analogue Pocket. This also includes that special new Tetris version that comes bundled with the handheld. And guys, that's interesting, but what got me here was the comment here, right? So the original poster, Lord Elon here, says it probably will. I asked them directly via a contact form. So they filled out a contact form that's available on the ModRetro website. I've seen it on there. I've asked them a question as well. So and I even asked about the Analogue Pocket, and obviously they responded with the usual blah blah about not being able to say anything about third-party devices, but assured that their carts will work on Game Boy and Game Boy Color. So it's very likely they'll just run fine on the Analogue Pocket. Either that or someone will dump them and OpenFPGA will do the trick, right? So that's interesting, right? So if they're going to work on a Game Boy and a Game Boy Color, there's no reason why these games here shouldn't actually work on the Analogue Pocket. So again, interesting. It's not something I'm going to buy, at least not initially. Maybe somewhere down the line I might, you know, buy it on there. I do have like a certain love for Game Boys and handheld consoles, so maybe down the line, but it's not something I'm going to pre-order right now, right? And this kind of final thing over here, this here from Spacebot Interactive, the developer behind Dragonim. There's another game, it's like, I think it's Dracula's Reign or something. I've covered it on the channel before. They released a demo of it, and it's a Metroidvania, kind of based, looks like Castlevania, but it's out for the Game Boy Color, and they've done a really good job of that. I'm looking forward to that. But Spacebot Interactive here are saying, we're excited to announce that Dragonim will release for the ModRetro Chromatic a new handheld console with its own library of games and is compatible with Game Boy and Game Boy Color cartridges. Pre-orders are now live. Please follow the link in our bio to secure your copy. Okay, so if that's something you want, if you're hyped about the Chromatic, whatever you kind of think, if you want this Game Boy clone, there's games coming out for it. But what is really good, and the purpose of me doing this video was really because of this Reddit post, right? Because you guys in the community provide a lot of good information. You asked the question, you got an answer, and if the Chromatic games are going to work on a Game Boy, they should be able to work on the Analogue Pocket as well, right? Absolutely no reason why it won't. If you've got the funny playing FP GBC, I think it's called, you know, the one that they released, the kit that you make. So that's very interesting, very interesting. It's nice to know that they're not going to be locked down, and I hope all of this is correct and it works. I'm basing this off a Reddit post, but I don't see a reason why, even I don't know, Lord Elam, why someone would go to the effort to just put a post out there with complete BS. I do hope everything is right, and I do hope when these cartridges come out, for anyone that wants them, they can use them on devices such as the Gameboy, Gameboy Color, and the Analogue Pocket, which I absolutely love. But that's it for this video, guys. Really do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, thumbs up, subscription, all that good stuff is super duper appreciated. Be awesome to one another, guys. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.